like to read books, so let's talk about them. The other day I stumbled upon a book tag called I Am the Reader and was really intrigued by it because instead of being like a lot of other book tags where you kind of pick a book off your shelves and use that to answer a question, this one is all about being a reader and what that's like and how it's shaped your identity and what things have made you the reader and the person that you are. And I'm just really interested to do this tag, so I'm going to. It's 8 questions and I'm pretty excited, so let's just get straight into it. First question, what is one word that describes being a reader? I was trying to think of something really like poetic and beautiful for this, but honestly the first word that came to mind when I read this question was magic. Obviously I love fantasy, so that's probably a big part of the reason why this came to mind, but also I just think there's something so enchanting and magical about losing yourself in a book. I have read so many books and I never get tired of that feeling of being so completely immersed in a story that everything else just kind of falls away. Like, to me, that is what magic is. Question number 2 is, what is the first book that you fell in love with? It would be really easy for me to say Harry Potter for this one, but I'm trying to think about the question a little differently. Basically, I didn't always read as much as I do now. At the moment, I am reading about 10 books a month, and that's kind of crazy, but I did go through like a 3-year period of my life where I didn't really read anything. So in answering this question, I want to talk about one of the books that I read when I was like first getting back into reading, and it's Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is book number 1 in a young adult fantasy trilogy, and I hadn't really read that much fantasy apart from like Harry Potter and Game of Thrones, but I was just so immersed in this world, and the amount that I loved it really motivated me to start talking more about books. So yes, Harry Potter did make me a reader and was probably the first book that I fell in love with, but the first book I fell in love with when I got back into reading was Daughter of Smoke and Bone. Question number 3 is paperbacks or hardbacks, and this question seems to come up in like every tag video that I do for some reason, so I feel like I've answered this a lot of times. But basically, as much as I like the look of hardbacks, I will always reach for a paperback first. This is probably due to the fact that they are like infinitely cheaper here in Australia, but also just because they feel more durable and kind of trustworthy, but honestly, I love both. Question number 4, how has reading shaped your identity? And honestly, I think reading is still kind of shaping my identity. I was never an especially shy person, but I probably would have described myself as timid. I was very quiet and wouldn't always speak up if I had something to say because I was really conscious of what people would think of me and whether they would judge me for whatever my opinion was or the way that I expressed myself. But honestly, I think reading so much and now making videos all about my reading habits have helped me become a bit more of a confident person. I'm better able to express my thoughts on different things and I'm more comfortable doing that. And I see this as a way I'm hopefully going to continue growing, and I think reading is going to play a big part in that. Question number 5 is, what book do you read when you need to be comforted? And this one should be really obvious. It's Harry Potter. Of course, it's Harry Potter. It's something I'm always going to love. I'm always going to go back to because Harry Potter to me just feels like home. Question number 6 is, who taught you to be a reader? And this is probably a really typical answer, but my parents did. They used to read to me and my siblings, and if we were out and we were really well behaved, we would sometimes get a book as a treat instead of like chocolate or something. So reading is just a thing that's always been a part of my life. Number 7 is, describe your dream reading lounge, and I only want 2 things ever from my reading lounge. The first is like a wall of bookshelves with one of those sliding ladders so I can like climb it and grab books off it and sing songs like in Beauty and the Beast. And the second thing I want is a window seat where it's all like pillows and blankets and it's just super cozy and I can sit there on a rainy day with my hot chocolate and my book and just spend all day reading. Final question, what book changed the way you act or the way you see the world? This is a really hard one because I don't know if there's one specific book that has changed the way I see things. I actually think the act of being a reader is what has really changed me. I feel like reading has exposed me to so many different stories, both real and made up, that have made me think and made me empathize with others. It's given me the ability to look at the bigger picture and take a step back and be a little bit more level-headed about situations, and I'm not actually sure if I'm level-headed because of reading or if it's just a part of my personality, but oh well. That brings us to the end of another video, guys. I hope I did a good job answering these questions, but I honestly think this is such a fun and interesting tag, and I really recommend that other people do it too. I upload videos Wednesdays and Saturdays and sometimes Mondays as well, so be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel and stay tuned on those days for more bookish goodness. Toodaloo!